Hey everyone! Let me ask you something. Do you believe you're born with a fixed amount of talent? That some people are just naturally gifted and others aren't? What if I told you that the most successful people aren't necessarily the most talented? They're the ones who know how to unlock their hidden potential. Today, we're diving deep into Hidden Potential by Adam Grant, a book that will completely change how you think about success, growth, and what you're truly capable of achieving. This groundbreaking book is written by Adam Grant, an organizational psychologist at Wharton and one of the world's leading thinkers on motivation, potential, and success. He's the author of multiple bestsellers including Think Again, Give and Take, and Originals. In this audio, you'll discover why character beats talent every single time, the science of getting better at getting better, how to thrive in the discomfort zone, not just comfort zone, why being an imperfectionist leads to more success than perfectionism, the power of systems and scaffolding for exponential growth, how collective intelligence multiplies individual potential, real stories of people who achieve the impossible. This audio is perfect for you if you feel like you're not naturally talented enough, you've hit a plateau in your growth, you want to learn faster and achieve more, you struggle with perfectionism. You're looking for practical strategies backed by science, you want to help others unlock their potential, what you'll gain. A complete roadmap to develop your hidden potential, transform your approach to learning and growth, and achieve results you never thought possible. We'll explore 6 powerful sections: the myth of natural talent, character skills that matter, learning in the discomfort zone, the imperfectionist mindset, building support systems, and creating cultures of growth. Let's unlock your potential. Section 1. Beyond Talent. The Character Skills Revolution 1.1. The Talent Myth. Why starting point doesn't matter. Let us shatter a fundamental misconception right from the start. Your starting point doesn't determine your ending point. Adam Grant opens with a powerful insight. We are obsessed with talent. We worship prodigies, celebrate early bloomers, and assume that people who start fast will finish first. But the data tells a completely different story. The research is shocking. Studies tracking people over decades show that early performance is a terrible predictor of long-term success. The students who get straight A's in school don't necessarily become the most successful adults. The child prodigies often plateau while late bloomers surge ahead. Why? Because we confuse potential with starting skills. Talent is just your starting point, what you can do today. But potential is about how far you can travel, what you can learn to do tomorrow. Real example from the book. Adam Grant shares the story of Evelyn Glennie, one of the world's greatest percussionists. Here's the twist: she's profoundly deaf. She lost her hearing at age 12, yet went on to become a Grammy-winning musician. How? She didn't rely on natural ability. She developed character skills, qualities like determination, creativity in finding solutions, she hears through vibrations, and relentless practice. Her limitation became her superpower because she couldn't rely on talent alone. The key insight: success isn't about having the most talent at the start. It's about having the most growth from start to finish. 1.2 Character skills versus performance skills. Adam Grant introduces a game-changing framework. Performance skills versus character skills. Performance skills are what we traditionally think of as talent. How fast you can run, how well you can sing, how quickly you solve math problems, your IQ score, your natural athletic ability. Character skills are the hidden drivers of success. Proactivity, taking initiative without being told, discipline, doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Determination, persisting when things get hard. Curiosity, asking questions and seeking to understand. Adaptability, adjusting when circumstances change. Here's the shocking truth: character skills are better predictors of long-term success than performance skills. The research. Studies of NBA players show that motor skills, physical talent, matter less than character skills for career longevity and success. Players with discipline, coachability, and work ethic outlast more naturally gifted but less disciplined players. In education, research shows that grit, a character skill, predicts academic achievement better than IQ, a performance skill. Students who can persist through difficulty and maintain long-term goals outperform students with higher natural intelligence. The good news: while you see and change your IQ significantly and you see and grow 6 inches taller, character skills are learnable. They're not fixed traits you're born with. They're habits and mindsets you can develop. 1.3 The 3 pillars of character development. Adam Grant identifies 3 core character skills that unlock potential. Pillar 1. Proactivity. The initiative advantage. Proactive people don't wait for opportunities, they create them. Research finding. In studies of college students, proactivity predicted career success 20 years later better than grades, test scores, or university prestige. What proactivity looks like. Seeking feedback rather than waiting for it, identifying problems and proposing solutions, learning skills before you need them, building relationships before you need favors, taking responsibility for your development. Example from the book. Grant shares the story of a customer service representative who noticed patterns in complaints. Instead of just answering calls, she proactively created a guide to prevent common problems. This initiative led to a promotion and eventually a leadership role, not because she was the most naturally talented, but because she was the most proactive. Pillar 2. Discipline. The consistency edge. Discipline isn't about motivation, it's about systems and habits. The myth. Successful people are highly motivated and disciplined by nature. The reality. Successful people create systems that make discipline easier. Key insight. You don't need more willpower, you need better systems. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do hard things, it's about making hard things easier through routines that reduce decision fatigue. Environment design that removes temptations. Commitment devices that lock in good behavior. Social accountability that keeps you on track. Example. Grant describes how Jerry Seinfeld became one of the greatest comedians not through natural humor alone, but through his don't break the chain method. He put an X on his calendar every day he wrote jokes. His only goal was to not break the chain. This simple system created discipline that compounded into mastery. Pillar 3. Determination. The persistence factor. Determination is about continuing when it would be easier to quit. The science. Angela Duckworth's research on grit shows that passion and perseverance for long-term goals predict success better than talent. But Adam Grant adds a crucial nuance. Determination doesn't mean stubborn persistence in the wrong direction. It means committing to the goal while staying flexible about the path, knowing when to pivot versus when to persist, finding ways to maintain motivation during plateaus, reframing setbacks as learning opportunities. Example from the book. R.A. Dickey, a baseball pitcher, was told he'd never make it to the major leagues because of a physical limitation. He was missing a crucial ligament in his elbow. Instead of quitting, he showed determination by completely reinventing his pitching style. He became a knuckleball specialist and went on to win the Cy Young Award, baseball's highest pitching honor. His success wasn't about having the best natural talent, it was about having the determination to find a different path. 1.4 How to develop character skills, practical framework. Here's how you actually build these character skills. 4 Proactivity. The what's next. Habit. After completing any task, immediately ask, what's the next valuable thing I could do? Don't wait to be told, anticipate needs. The feedback loop. Actively seek feedback weekly from mentors, peers, or bosses. Ask, what's one thing I could improve? Implement immediately. The skill stacking method. Identify skills that will be valuable in 6 to 12 months. Start learning them now, before you need them. Be ahead of the curve, not catching up. For discipline. Design your environment. Remove friction from good behaviors. Lay out workout clothes the night before. Add friction to bad behaviors. Put phone in another room. Make the right choice, the easy choice. The 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. This prevents procrastination. Pile up builds momentum and habit. Implementation. Intentions. Instead of I'll work out more, say, I'll go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m. Specificity creates accountability. When then planning. When I wake up, then I'll immediately. 4 Determination. The obstacle is the way. When you face a setback, ask, what can I learn from this? Reframe challenges as skill-building opportunities. Keep a learning journal of lessons from failures. The persistence matrix. Evaluate. Is the goal still right? If yes, persist. If no, pivot. Ask, am I making progress, even if slow? If yes, continue. If no, change approach. Don't confuse persistence with stubbornness. The support system. Share your goals with people who will support you. Join communities of people pursuing similar aims. Accountability increases determination dramatically. The integration. These 3 pillars work together. Proactivity gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Determination helps you persist through difficulty. Adam Grant's core message. You don't need to be born gifted. You need to develop character skills that allow you to grow faster and further than people with more natural talent. Section 2. Getting better at getting better. 2.1 The learning curve. Why fast starts are overrated. Here's counterintuitive truth that Adam Grant hammers home. The people who learn fastest at the beginning often learn slowest in the long run. Why this happens? When you pick up a new skill quickly, you tend to rely on natural talent rather than developing systematic learning strategies. Skip fundamentals because you get it. Quickly become complacent because early success feels good. Avoid challenges that might expose weaknesses. Meanwhile, people who struggle early often develop superior learning strategies because they have to. They learn how to learn. The research. Studies in education show that students who score highest on early tests often do and show the most improvement over time. Students who struggle initially but develop good learning habits eventually surpass the naturals. In sports, late bloomers often have longer, more successful careers than early prodigies because they've developed better training habits and mental skills. Real example from the book, Grant shares the story of Steve Martin, who became one of comedy's biggest stars. But here's what most people do and know. He performed for 10 years before he got his first big laugh. A full decade of bombing on stage, refining his craft, learning from failure. Meanwhile, comedians who got early laughs often peaked quickly because they never developed the depth of craft that comes from struggling and systematic improvement. Martin's advantage: he got better at getting better. He developed a systematic approach to comedy, studying what worked, what didn't, and why. His slow start forced him to develop superior learning skills. 2.2 The discomfort zone. Where real growth happens, most people talk about getting out of your comfort zone. Adam Grant introduces a more nuanced framework, the 3 zones of performance. Zone 1. The comfort zone: tasks you can do easily and automatically, low stress. Low growth feels good but leads to stagnation. Example, a presentation you've given 100 times. Zone 2. The discomfort zone: medium white star. This is where magic happens, tasks that are challenging but achievable, high learning. Moderate stress feels uncomfortable but manageable. Example, a presentation with new material to a new audience. Zone 3. The panic zone: tasks so far beyond your abilities that you can't learn, overwhelming stress. Shut down response: you're drowning, not learning. Example, a presentation in a language you don't speak to hostile experts. The key insight: maximum growth happens in the discomfort zone, not in comfort, and not in panic. How to find your discomfort zone. Adam Grant provides a practical framework. The difficulty sweet spot: you should succeed about 50 to 80% of the time. If you're succeeding 100%, it's too easy, comfort zone. If you're succeeding less than 50%, it's too hard, panic zone. The stretch but don't snap principle: push yourself 10 to 15% beyond current capacity, not 50 to 100%. That's panic zone. Gradual progression, not giant leaps. The feedback loop: you need immediate feedback. In the discomfort zone, without feedback, you can't learn from mistakes. Seek coaches, mentors, or objective metrics. Example from the book. Grant describes a study of chess players. The best way to improve was end playing thousands of games, comfort zone, or studying grandmaster games way above their level, panic zone. The optimal strategy: play against opponents slightly better than you, discomfort zone, then analyze games with a coach to understand mistakes. This combination of stretch plus feedback created the fastest improvement. 2.3 Deliberate practice vs naive practice. Not all practice is created equal. Adam Grant distinguishes between 2 types. Naive practice: what most people do, mindless repetition, staying in comfort zone, no specific goals for each session, no feedback mechanism, just putting in time. Example, a guitarist who plays songs they already know for 2 hours every day. They're practicing, but not improving much because there's no deliberate challenge or focus on weaknesses. Deliberate practice: what experts do, focused on specific weaknesses, constantly pushing into discomfort zone, clear goals for each practice session, immediate feedback on performance, high concentration and effort. Example, the same guitarist who spends 30 minutes on a specific technique they struggle with, records themselves, analyzes the recording, gets feedback from a teacher, and makes specific adjustments. The research, Anders Ericsson's famous studies, which Grant builds on, show that deliberate practice is what separates good from great. The key finding: it is not about practicing for 10,000 hours, it is about how you practice. The framework for deliberate practice. 1. Identify weakness. What specific skill are you worst at? What holds you back from the next level? Where do you avoid challenge? 2. Design targeted practice. Break the weakness into smaller components. Create exercises focused on just that weakness. Make it difficult enough to require full concentration. 3. Get immediate feedback. How will you know if you're improving? Who or what can provide objective feedback? Build in feedback loops. Record yourself. Get coaching. Use metrics. 4. Repeat with variations. Don't just repeat the same exercise. Vary the conditions to build flexibility. Transfer the skill to different contexts. 5. Push into discomfort. If it feels easy, it's not deliberate practice. You should be failing 20 to 50% of the time. Comfort zone practice maintains skills. Discomfort zone practice builds them. Real example. Grant describes how Benjamin Franklin improved his writing, one of the most impressive examples of deliberate practice in history. Franklin would find excellent essays, write notes on the main ideas, wait a few days until he forgot the original wording, reconstruct the essay from his notes, compare his version to the original, identify specific weaknesses in his writing. This was pure deliberate practice. Focused, uncomfortable, with immediate feedback, targeting specific weaknesses. 2.4 The art of receiving feedback. Adam Grant makes a crucial point. Getting feedback is useless if you can't receive it effectively. Most people are terrible at receiving feedback because we get defensive, we make excuses, we focus on defending ourselves rather than learning. We avoid feedback that might hurt. The mindset shift. View feedback as data, not judgment. It's information about how to improve, not an attack on your worth as a person. The framework for receiving feedback. Stage 1. Seek it actively. Don't wait for annual reviews. Create feedback loops. Ask, what's one thing I could do better? Request specific feedback. How was my introduction in that presentation? Make it easy for people to be honest. I really want to improve, so please be direct. Stage 2. Listen without defending. Your only job when receiving feedback is to understand it, not defend yourself. Say, tell me more instead of, but here's why I did that. Ask clarifying questions. Can you give me an example? Take notes. Shows you value the feedback. Thank them regardless of whether you agree. Stage 3. Extract the gold. Not all feedback is useful, but most feedback has some useful nugget. Look for patterns. If multiple people say the same thing, it's probably true. Separate the delivery from the content. Harsh delivery not equal to invalid feedback. Ask, what's the 20% of this feedback that could lead to 80% improvement? Stage 4. Implement systematically. Choose own piece of feedback to work on. Create a specific plan. I will, specific action, in a specific situation. Set a time frame for the next 2 weeks. Follow up. I've been working on X. How am I doing? Example from the book. Grant describes Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, world's largest hedge fund. Dalio created a culture of radical transparency where everyone gives everyone feedback constantly. His personal practice. After every meeting, he asks participants to rate his performance and give specific feedback. He's created a systematic feedback loop that allows him to improve continuously, even as a billionaire CEO. The key, he doesn't get defensive. He treats feedback as data for improvement. Section 3. The Imperfectionist Advantage. 3.1 Why perfectionists peak early. Here's a surprising finding from Adam Grant's research. Perfectionism is negatively correlated with long-term achievement. The perfectionist trap. Perfectionists often achieve early success because they're conscientious and careful, then plateau or decline because they can't handle imperfection. Avoid challenges where they might fail. Spend excessive time polishing instead of learning. Experience burnout and anxiety. The research. Studies of high achievers across fields show that extreme perfectionism is associated with higher rates of depression and anxiety, lower career satisfaction despite achievements, decreased creativity and innovation, slower skill development after initial mastery. Why this happens? Perfectionists focus on performance goals, looking good, not making mistakes, rather than learning goals, getting better, even through failure. When your goal is to be perfect, any mistake feels like failure. When your goal is to learn, mistakes are just data. Real example from the book. Grant contrasts 2 types of students. The perfectionist studies intensely, avoids classes where they might not get an A, focuses on maintaining GPA, stressed about every assignment, plateaus after initial success. The imperfectionist takes challenging classes even if it risks GPA, focuses on learning rather than grades, comfortable making mistakes, continues improving throughout career. Guess who has more long-term success? The imperfectionist, because they're building skills, not just protecting their ego. 3.2 The Imperfectionist Mindset. Progress over perfection. Adam Grant introduces the concept of strategic imperfectionism, being deliberately imperfect in smart ways. Core principle. Good enough is good enough. For most things, most of the time. The Pareto principle applied. 80% quality takes 20% effort. 95% quality takes 50% effort. 99% quality takes 80% effort. 100% perfection takes infinite effort. The imperfectionist approach. Identify what matters. Where does quality actually make a difference? Aim for 80 to 90%. Good enough for most work. Reserve perfectionism. Only for the 10% that truly matters. Ship it and improve. Done is better than perfect for most things. Example from the book. Grant shares how Sheryl Sandberg, former CEO of Facebook, author of Lean In, applies this principle. She aims for B- work on most tasks. This sounds crazy for someone so successful, but here's the genius. By not over-polishing everything, she has time and energy for the few things that really need to be exceptional. Her question: what's the minimum quality needed for this to be effective? Internal email? B is fine. Maybe even C book chapter? Needs to be a casual presentation? B is plenty keynote speech? Should be A+. This strategic imperfectionism allows her to accomplish far more than if she made everything perfect. 3.3 Done is better than perfect. The shipping mindset Adam Grant emphasizes a crucial principle. Finished imperfect work is infinitely better than unfinished perfect work. Why shipping matters. You get feedback. Can't improve without putting work into the world. You build momentum. Shipping creates confidence and habit. You learn faster. Real-world testing beats theoretical perfection. You compound. Each shipped project builds on the last. The perfection paradox. Perfectionists spend so much time polishing that they ship less work. Fewer at-bats means less learning. Miss feedback opportunities. Can't improve what you don't ship. Lose momentum. The gap between projects kills habit. Never finish. Always one more tweak. Meanwhile, imperfectionists ship frequently, get feedback, iterate, improve faster. The research. Studies of creative professionals show that quantity leads to quality. The most acclaimed artists, writers, and scientists didn't produce the highest percentage of masterpieces. They produced the most total work, which included more masterpieces. Example. Picasso created over 50,000 works of art in his lifetime. Paintings, sculptures, drawings, ceramics. Most are forgettable. Some are masterpieces. If he'd been a perfectionist trying to make every piece perfect, he would have created far fewer works and probably fewer masterpieces. His imperfectionism, prolific creation without obsessing over perfection, led to more total success. The framework for shipping imperfect work. 1. Set a deadline. This will be done by specific date. Ready or not, deadlines force decisions and prevent endless tweaking. 2. Define good enough. What are the minimum criteria for this to be useful? Anything beyond that is optional. Polish. 3. Ship 80% if it meets minimum criteria. Ship it. You can always improve. Version 2.04. Collect feedback. Let the real world tell you what needs improvement. Users. Audience will reveal what actually matters. 5. Iterate. Version 1 is never final. Ship. Learn. Improve. Ship again. Progress through iteration, not perfection. Grant's example. When he writes books, he doesn't aim for perfect first drafts. He aims for shitty first drafts, a concept from and Lamotte. Get ideas down, ship them to editors and early readers, gather feedback, then improve. His books go through 40+ drafts, but each draft ships to someone for feedback. He's not polishing in isolation. He's iterating based on real feedback. 3.4 The growth mindset in action. Adam Grant builds on Carol Dweck's growth mindset concept and shows how to actually implement it. Fixed mindset says, I'm not good at this. Permanent state, I failed. Judgment of self, I can't do this. Limitation. Growth mindset says, I'm not good at this yet. Temporary state, improvable, I failed this time. Specific instance, learnable. I can't do this currently without more practice. Path to improvement. The key word. Yet but here's Grannis addition. Growth mindset isn't just about belief, it is about behavior. The growth mindset action plan. 1. Embrace challenges. Choose the harder path. Deliberately ask, what would make this more challenging and educational? Seek projects just beyond your current ability. 2. Persist through setbacks. When you fail, ask, what can I learn? Not why am I so stupid? Keep a failure log. Document what you learned from each setback. Celebrate failures that led to learning. 3. See effort as path to mastery. Reframe. This is hard. This is building my brain. Effort isn't a sign you lack talent. It's the price of growth. High achievers work harder, not smarter without effort. 4. Learn from criticism. Seek critical feedback, not praise. Ask, what should I do differently? Thank critics. They're giving you the gift of improvement. 5. Find inspiration in others' success instead of feeling threatened. Ask, what can I learn from them? Study their path, not just their outcome. Success of others proves it's possible, not that you're an inadequate. Real example from the book. Grant describes Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, billionaire entrepreneur. Her father used to ask at dinner, what did you fail at today? If she hadn't failed at anything, he'd be disappointed, because it meant she hadn't tried anything challenging. He would celebrate her failures and ask what she learned. This created a growth mindset where failure was reframed as necessary data for improvement. She grew up seeing challenges as opportunities, not threats. This mindset was crucial when she faced countless rejections trying to launch Spanx. Each no was just data, not a judgment of her worth. If you're finding this valuable and want to unlock your own hidden potential, please help me out. Hit that like button. It helps more people discover this. Subscribe for more transformative book summaries. Comment below, what's one area where you've been relying on talent instead of developing character skills? Alright, Let's continue with how to build systems that multiply your potential. Section 4. Scaffolding. Building your support system. 4.1 The myth of the self-made success. Here is a truth that Adam Grant drives home with compelling evidence. There is no such thing as self-made success. Every high achiever had scaffolding, support structures that elevated their performance. Teachers who believed in them, mentors who guided them, peers who challenged them, systems that enabled them. Resources that supported them. The research. Studies of Nobel Prize winners show they rarely worked in isolation. Most had world-class mentors who introduced them to key ideas, collaborative lab environments with talented peers, institutional support, funding, equipment, time. The genius wasn't alone. They were surrounded by scaffolding. Example from the book. Grant examines the Beatles. Yes, they were talented. But they also had extraordinary scaffolding, 10,000 plus hours performing in Hamburg clubs, deliberate practice environment, George Martin as producer, expert mentor who shaped their sound, each other as peer competitors and collaborators, Epstein as manager handling business, perfect timing with cultural shifts. Remove any piece of that scaffolding, and the Beatles might never have happened. The key insight: success isn't about being self-sufficient. It's about building the right support structures. 4.2 Types of scaffolding you need. Adam Grant identifies several critical types of scaffolding. Type 1. Instructional scaffolding, teachers and mentors, what they provide, expert knowledge and shortcuts. Feedback on your performance, exposure to new ideas and methods, accountability and encouragement. How to build it. Seek mentors actively. Don't wait to be discovered. Offer value in exchange, assistance, fresh perspective. Make it easy for them to help you. Specific questions, not tell me everything. Have multiple mentors for different domains. Example. Grant describes how Ben Franklin created a junto, a club of peers who met weekly to discuss ideas, give feedback, and challenge each other. This wasn't one mentor. It was a system of peer mentorship. Type 2. Emotional scaffolding, supporters and cheerleaders, what they provide. Belief in you when you doubt yourself, encouragement during setback, celebration of wins, unconditional support. The research. Studies show that having even one person who believes in your potential significantly increases your chances of success. This Pygmalion effect, when someone's belief in you becomes self-fulfilling, is powerful. How to build it. Identify people who genuinely want you to succeed. Share your goals and progress with them. Let them know how to support you. Reciprocate. Be their cheerleader too. Type 3. Facilitative scaffolding, systems and resources, what it provides. Tools that make difficult tasks easier, processes that guide you, resources that enable you, environments that support growth. Examples. Writing software that checks grammar, facilitates better writing. A gym membership, facilitates exercise. A standing desk, facilitates less sitting. Calendar blocking, facilitates time management. How to build it. Invest in tools that make your goals easier. Create systems that support your aims. Design your environment for success. Remove friction from good behaviors. Type 4. Challenging scaffolding, critics and competitors, what they provide. Push you beyond comfort zone. Honest feedback, even when harsh competition that elevates your game. High standards that force growth. The research. Studies of Olympic athletes show that training partners at similar or slightly higher levels dramatically improve performance. You raise your game to match theirs. How to build it. Seek out people slightly better than you. Join communities of high performers. Welcome critical feedback. Compete with yourself and others. 4.3 How to build scaffolding when you're starting from zero. The bootstrapping challenge. What if you don't have access to great mentors, resources, or communities? Adam Grant provides strategies. Strategy 1. The apprenticeship model. Offer to work for free or cheap for experts. Trade your labor for access and learning. Get in the room where it happens. Example. Interns who work for top firms for low pay but incredible learning. Strategy 2. Online communities. Join online forums, Discord servers, subreddits in your field. Participate actively. Give before you get. Find accountability partners virtually. Example. Writers who join online critique groups. Strategy 3. Books and courses. Learn from the best even if you can't meet them. Treat books as conversations with experts. Take online courses from top institutions, many free. Example. You're watching this book summary. That's scaffolding. Strategy 4. Peer groups. Form a mastermind with peers at your level. Meet weekly to share goals, progress, challenges. Hold each other accountable. Learn together. Example. Startup founders forming peer advisory groups. Strategy 5. Public commitment. Share your goals publicly. Blog, social media, friends. Creates accountability. Scaffolding invites support and advice. Makes it harder to quit. Example. People who blog about their learning journey. Real example from the book. Grant shares the story of Maurice Ashley, who became the first African-American grandmaster in chess. Born in Jamaica and raised in Brooklyn with limited financial resources, Ashley had no access to elite training or prestigious clubs. Instead, he bootstrapped his scaffolding. He devoured chess books from the public library, joined informal street chess games to practice against better players, offered to analyze games for stronger opponents in exchange for tips, and formed a peer group called the Black Bear School, where members challenged and supported each other. Through these self-built supports, apprenticeship through observation, online resources, even before the internet was widespread, via books and magazines, and peer accountability, he transformed his potential into mastery, proving that starting from zero does not preclude building effective scaffolding. The core message of this section: scaffolding multiplies your efforts. By intentionally building instructional, emotional, facilitative, and challenging supports, you create a system that elevates your growth beyond individual capability. Remember, even the most self-made successes stand on carefully constructed foundations. Section 5. The Power of Collective Intelligence. 5.1 Why Individual Potential Needs Collective Support. Adam Grant shifts focus from personal development to the broader ecosystem, emphasizing that true potential emerges not in isolation but through interconnected systems. Individual achievements are amplified when embedded in cultures that foster collective intelligence, the combined knowledge, skills, and perspectives of a group that exceed what any single person can achieve. The research is compelling. Studies on teams demonstrate that collective intelligence predicts group performance better than the average intelligence of members. In one analysis of over 700 teams, factors like equal participation, social sensitivity, and diverse viewpoints accounted for superior outcomes, regardless of individual IQ scores. Key insight: potential is contagious. Environments where people share ideas freely, challenge assumptions collaboratively, and support mutual growth create exponential progress. Conversely, competitive or siloed cultures stifle hidden potential. Real example from the book. Grant examines the Finnish education system, renowned for producing high-achieving students despite minimal homework and later school starts. The secret lies in collective intelligence. Teachers collaborate extensively, sharing lesson plans and feedback. Schools emphasize equity, providing resources to all students regardless of background, and the culture values trust over competition. This system unlocks potential across society, resulting in consistently strong international performance metrics. 5.2 Building cultures of opportunity. To multiply potential, Grant advocates designing systems that level the playing field and provide equitable access to growth opportunities. This involves removing barriers and creating structures where talent from all backgrounds can flourish. The framework for opportunity design: identify hidden barriers, examine systemic obstacles. What prevents certain groups from accessing resources, e.g., socioeconomic biases in hiring or education, conduct audits. Use data to reveal disparities in promotion rates, funding allocation, or participation. Create inclusive pathways, implement blind evaluations. Remove identifying information from applications to focus on merit. Provide entry points. Offer scholarships, internships, or training programs targeted at underrepresented groups. Foster diversity of thought, encourage varied perspectives. Diverse teams generate 19% more revenue, per research from Boston Consulting Group. Rotate roles. Allow individuals to experience different positions, broadening skills and empathy. Measure and iterate, track outcomes. Monitor not just results but participation and retention. Adjust based on evidence. If a program fails to unlock potential for specific groups, refine it systematically. Example from the book. Grant discusses the Moneyball approach in baseball, popularized by Billy Beane. By using data to identify undervalued players overlooked by traditional scouts, the Oakland Athletics built a competitive team on a limited budget. This system-focused strategy revealed hidden potential in players dismissed due to biases, demonstrating how redesigning evaluation processes can create fairer opportunities. 5.3 Overcoming adversity through systemic change. Grant addresses how cultures of growth help individuals defy gravity, overcoming gravitational pulls like poverty, discrimination, or limited networks. The emphasis is on transforming systems rather than expecting heroic individual efforts. The science. Resilience research shows that protective factors, such as community support and institutional reforms, buffer against adversity more effectively than personal grit alone. For instance, programs providing mentorship and resources to at-risk youth reduce dropout rates by up to 50%. Practical strategies. Advocate for policy changes, support initiatives like universal basic education or anti-discrimination laws that remove structural barriers. In organizations, implement flexible work policies to accommodate diverse needs. Build resilience networks, create support circles, groups where members share experiences and resources to navigate challenges. Leverage technology. Online platforms can connect isolated individuals to global networks. Reframe adversity, teach adaptive narratives. View obstacles as shared challenges solvable through collective action. Celebrate collective wins. Highlight how group efforts overcome individual limitations. Example from the book, Grant profiles Rokia, a girl from a Kenyan slum who became a chess champion. Facing poverty and gender biases, she benefited from a non-profit program that provided free chess training, mentorship, and tournaments. This systemic intervention, combining community scaffolding with opportunity equalization, unlocked her potential and inspired others, illustrating how cultures of growth can elevate entire communities. 5.4 The multiplier effect of growth cultures. In summary, collective intelligence turns individual sparks into fires. By designing systems that promote equity, collaboration, and resilience, we create environments where everyone's hidden potential contributes to shared success. Grant's key message: unlocking potential is not a solo endeavor. It requires building cultures where growth is the norm, barriers are dismantled, and collective progress benefits all. Section 6. Unleashing your hidden potential. Final thoughts. 6.1 Integrating the principles throughout this exploration. Adam Grant provides a comprehensive framework for realizing hidden potential. From developing character skills like proactivity, discipline, and determination, to embracing discomfort through deliberate practice, adopting an imperfectionist mindset, constructing personal scaffolding, and fostering cultures of collective growth, the path to achievement lies in systematic, evidence-based strategies. The overarching theme: potential is not a fixed trait but a developable capacity. By focusing on growth over innate talent, you position yourself for sustained success. Research reinforcement. Longitudinal studies confirm that individuals and organizations applying these principles outperform those relying on natural ability alone, with gains in productivity, innovation, and satisfaction. 6.2 Practical next steps to apply these insights. Assess your current skills. Identify one character pillar to strengthen this week. Enter the discomfort zone. Choose a task where you succeed 60 to 80% of the time and practice deliberately. Audit your scaffolding. List supports you have and one new one to build. Contribute to growth cultures. In your team or community, propose one initiative for collective improvement. Track progress. Maintain a journal of learnings and adjustments. Example recap. Recall Evelyn Glennie, Steve Martin, R.A. Dickey, and others. Their stories demonstrate that limitations become launchpads when approached with the right systems. 6.3 Closing call to action. This audio has equipped you with science-backed tools to transform your approach to potential. Implement them consistently, and you will achieve outcomes beyond your current imagination. If this content has resonated, consider sharing it with colleagues to foster collective growth. For deeper exploration, acquire Hidden Potential by Adam Grant. Thank you for investing in your development. Remember, your greatest achievements lie not in what you start with, but in how far you grow. Unlock your potential today.